Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video on Star Wars Squadrons. Now, obviously, yesterday was a very exciting day with the gameplay trailer finally being revealed and a lot of us getting an early look at what we can be expecting come October when the game releases. Now, alongside the trailer, as exciting as that was, we did get a little bit more information on the side, which came in similar to the form of a community transmission. This is called a pilot briefing, and I've just taken some extracts out of it on what we can expect the gameplay to look like with the upgrades of our Starfighters. Now, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over how these upgrades are going to work in the game, what you're going to be able to do, and how they will affect your Starfighters, and also all 60 of the upgrades that we currently know are going to be available in game when it releases. Now, this might not be all the upgrades that are possible, but this is just all the ones we know so far, so I will list those towards the end of the video. But with that said, if you are brand new to the channel and you're looking for more Star Wars gaming content, be sure to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so that you can get alerted every time I upload or every time I go live. Now, with that said, I'm going to talk about the component slots, which is the first part here. It says how you specialize the various functions of your favorite Starfighters is even more important. While playing, you'll be able to unlock components for your ships so that they can perform to your preferred specifications. Each Starfighter can be outfitted uniquely too, meaning an X-Wing may have some different upgrade options than an A-Wing or a Y-Wing. Ship components range from different weaponry, auxiliary parts that aid in repairing or engaging your enemies, and much more. Now, the current loadout on how it's going to be for your Starfighter and the ship component slots, you're going to have your primary weapons, 2 auxiliary slots, a countermeasure slot, a hull, shields, and engines. So these are what you're going to be picking from in terms of components, so they've split them into 6 different categories. It says that each component offers unique effects to your ships, though most have a trade-off. Now, this is important. For example, one type of shielding system will provide more protection against blaster fire, but less against missiles, or vice versa. There are many more examples beyond that too. To add to this, you can make your squadron look how you want as well. Your 2 pilots, Imperial and Republic, and 8 Starfighters, 4 per side, will all have various cosmetic options that you can earn and unlock while playing. Now, the bit to take away from that is obviously the 6 ship component slots, and also the fact that each component that you actually add to your ship is going to have a positive and a negative impact on it. So make sure you guys choose wisely when we get down below to the next section. It goes on to say, while customizing your ships in the hangar bay is important, how you use them in combat matters just as much. During combat, managing the performance outputs of your ship is crucial. At any given moment, you'll be able to decide how you want your ship's power to be channeled between your engine power, which is going to give you speed, your laser power, which gives you offense, and your shield strength, which gives you defense. So this is basically going to be called power management. Mastering power management on the fly is what will separate you from the space dust and leave them in your wake. Not all Starfighters will have shields, but those that do have the ability to manually focus them entirely to the front or the back when needed, which is going to be great for immersion. You guys know in the Star Wars universe, obviously you hear them going routing power to rear deflector shields or something along those lines, which is going to be really cool to be able to do this in game, giving us twice the protection to one part of the ship, but at the cost of having no shielding to the other. So if you divert power to the rear, then you will have none in the front, and vice versa again. With this though, they typically have slightly lower max speed and offensive capabilities than their unshielded counterparts. Additionally, unshielded ships can quickly transfer additional power to their engines or blasters when needed. So if you don't have shields on your Starfighter, you will definitely be able to give yourself a boost in the engines or in the blaster department to do more damage. Learning which ships perform best to your capabilities while also keeping your squadron's balance in mind will help you excel in the cockpit. Because of the uniqueness between ships and factions, you'll have the option to have matchmaking prioritize which faction you prefer to be a part of. So guys, a lot of information to digest there, and I'm going to jump into all the components we know so far, but the key takeaways there, obviously the 6 main components that we're going to be choosing from. Some Starfighters will have shields, some won't. Some are going to be better in different areas, and we saw that in the trailer with the different readouts. Obviously the fighter class is going to be very balanced. The interceptor is going to be very quick. The bombers are going to be high damage with high defense as well, but very slow. And then you're going to have your support roles, which are somewhere in the middle, which have around half the amount of damage output of the bomber as well as the shields, but it does have a little bit more speed. Now, getting into the components, we have 60 currently that we know of. I'm going to put an image up on the screen as we go through so you guys can follow along. The first lot obviously going to come into the primary weapons with laser cannons, rotary cannons, burst cannons, rapid fire cannons, plas burst cannons, auto aim cannons, a guided rotary cannon, guided quad cannon, an ion cannon, and a concussion missile. Those ones seem to be all along the same line, so I'm assuming you will choose one of these as your primary loadout to fire as. I don't know what the plas burst cannon is going to be, but it sounds kind of cool. The rotary cannon is something similar to what I would imagine an A-wing using based off the image that's here. And then again, the guided stuff, I'm assuming they're just auto aim options that once you get a lock on, they're going to actually fire for you. So it sounds like some really cool cannon options there. Again, we have the concussion missile, proton torpedo, cluster missile, multi-lock missile, ion torpedo, ion missile, rockets, Goliath missile, and quick lock missile, which are really cool options again in the missile department. Obviously, you're going to have your standard cannons, and then you're going to have this as a backup as well. Anyone that's played Starfighter Assault in Battlefront 2 will also be aware of this. There's some interesting other options here with seeker mines, turret mines, proton bombs, ion bombs, and a bunch of automatic cannons and beam cannons, baradium torpedoes, and then we get into some other stuff as we go further. But the fact that we can actually have bombs that we can drop out of our ship, which would be really cool. Again, the bombers, these will probably come native to, and they'll be a good option for them. But it'd be interesting to see if we can put them on like an X-Wing or an A-Wing or any of the other classes, or if some of these options as component upgrades are going to be specific to certain classed starfighters. Moving on though, we have repair droids, repair systems, tractor beams, assault shields, mimic beacons, tactical shields, targeting jammers, targeting beacons, supply droid, squadron mask, seeker warheads, chaff particles, sensor jammer, sensor inverter, and a really long word which I don't know how to pronounce, and I'm going to give it a go. It's ferrocermiac hull or ferrocermaic hull, something like that. Not 100% sure what that is going to be, but again, we can see as we go along, a tractor beam is kind of cool. It seems like it's going to be able to keep an enemy close to you and potentially draw them closer so that you can get a good shot. There's some shielding options in there. There's some jammers. So obviously if you're being targeted by a missile, you can activate a jammer. There's a squadron mask, which I'm assuming will stop your squadron from showing up on the readout displays. Seeker warheads, which are like multi-shot cannons, I'm assuming, or multiple rockets that deploy from your starfighter. Again, sensor jammers, sensor inverters, and then we get into the reinforcement of the hull. So there was the ferrocermaic hull, the reinforced hull, light hull, laminar steel hull, dampener hull, deflector hull, reflect hull, deflector shield, resonant shield, nimble deflector, and fortified deflector, as well as ray shields, scrambler shields, conversion shields, and overloaded shields to end off that. So that sounds like they're going to be your defensive components, from reinforced hulls to overloaded shields and scrambler shields. There's a whole bunch of different defensive options for your starfighters there. And then finally we get into the sublight engine, propulsion engine, thrust engine, micro thrust engine, ion jet engine, and the slam engine, which of course by the name we can tell that these are going to be the different engine options that you can actually use within your starfighter. So I'm assuming that there's going to be multiple different ways that these actually fire off. You see Poe's X-Wing in the sequel trilogy fire off that one large burst that propels him forward. I'm assuming that would be a propulsion engine, but again, I could be wrong. I don't know what the other ones are going to actually be. An ion jet engine could potentially be what Poe gets as well, or a slam engine, but I'm not sure how they're going to differentiate each of these as well. But it's cool to see all the different options. Obviously, they did break them up into those 6 categories. This is going to be the make or break of a lot of starfighter pilots in this game, and it's going to separate the good from the great, or the good from the average. So make sure you guys read up on these, and as more details come out, I will be covering them as well. But I just wanted to go over all the component updates that we know of so far and give you guys a heads up. So what I think would be really cool is if we could give like a lot of speed boost to certain areas, but again, the components are going to be limited in what you can do. So for those of you playing, for example, the bomber class, which is quite slow, you might want to bulk up on those actual speed components. And then again, those that are lacking in potentially power, you could upgrade the seeker missiles or your guided quad cannon or something like that. And then again, like I mentioned before, if each class has specific components that only they can use, we're going to have to reassess and go again. But this just shows the level of depth that they're going to with these components. I really am excited for the game, and I can't wait to get my hands on it, and I'm sure you guys are the same. Let me know down in the comments what class you're going to be playing as first. I'm excited to play a lot of the classes, but I definitely think either the bomber or the TIE Reaper in the support class I'm really excited to test out. So those are probably going to be 2 of the options that I go for first. Anyways, with all that said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I am going to get out of here now, guys. I will see you in the next one, and may the force be with you always.